Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephen Bettinger. I am the CEO of Acquire Real Estate. Thank you for joining me today. Today is going to be an informal webinar to teach you a little bit about Acquire Real Estate, what we do, some of the properties that we invest in, and how you could benefit from the ability and the access that Acquire has given you today. So I'm going to take you a little bit from the beginning. Acquire Real Estate is a group of real estate professionals that have got together, found the crowdfunding, relaxation of the rules and regulations, and the opportunity to allow for companies like ours to offer investments to accredited investors around the United States. So what we do first, and which is really key here, the important thing is we're a real estate investment firm. So we make real estate investments for ourselves. We use our own money. We secure deals through relationships that we know and that we trust, and that we have an interest in investing in their properties. And those type of companies are basically called sponsors, and sponsors are real estate companies that have a specific niche, either by class, by asset class, or region, or whatever their expertise may be. And what we do here at Acquire is we negotiate terms for real estate investing opportunities with sponsors that we trust and we know that have certain minimum standards. For example, of $200 million under management, have 10 years of experience, so they've been through all the cycles, both ups and downs, through credit crisis, all sorts of market cycles like any marketplace, whether it's stocks, bonds, equities, currency, and so forth. So we then feel comfortable making those investments with those particular sponsors. So what we do, we find a property, and we use our most recent property investment as an example. Recently we invested $1 million in a shopping center, a lifestyle center outside of Chicago. It was a $113 million acquisition. It had some anchor tenants like Home Depot, Costco, Bed Bath & Beyond. So when we look at this opportunity, we underwrite the ability of not only the sponsor but the deal itself. We look at the macro and microeconomics surrounding the area, the tenants, the cash flow, all of the things that anybody would want to underwrite, and we do that for our own selves. So once we've made that investment, which we did, we made $1 million investment there, then and only then do our accredited investors, our membership, have the ability to see those deals. So, for example, you won't see the hundreds of deals that we pass on. We get 3 to 5 phone calls a day. Will you invest in this? Will you invest in that? No. We only invest in people that we know and we trust, that have the ability to perform and have performed historically, and that's where we make our investments. So getting back to our property in Chicago, we made a $1 million investment. Then and only then, that deal is listed on our portal for our accredited investors to take a look at. If that's an interesting investment to them, they can take a piece of that investment. What's important here to remember is we have our skin in the game in every deal that we do. So before you see it, we've already made our own investments, and we never sell out of our entire allocation. So if someone wants to come in from Chicago area, great, they can come in for $10,000. If somebody's interested in $200,000 from Sacramento or Miami Beach, terrific. We will always keep a piece, even if it's oversubscribed, and what that does is that aligns our interests, which is a key component to this marketplace. Our interests will always stay aligned with our investors. What's good for you is good for us and vice versa. So our model grows. It gives us the ability to buy more properties, bring in investors like yourself to join with us, and it gives you the ability to kind of piggyback the access that Acquire has through our relationships. And if you ask me what's the most important point to Acquire is really access. So that example, that Chicago example, they never would have found investors from Sacramento or Miami or New York City or wherever the case may be. They never would have found you, and likely you probably would never have found them, nor would they be interested in taking a $20,000 or $10,000 or $100,000 investment in their property. The math and the economics and the logistics just don't work for the small investors. Here comes Acquire. So since we were able to obviously make the $1 million investment through the relationship, because of the relationship that we've had, we now made the ability for individual investors to have access to institutional-like deals, high-quality deals like the one we're talking about. So if I'm an investor, for example, I'm a real estate investor and I have $250,000 to invest. And of course, my goal here as an investor, like anybody should be in any marketplace, is diversification. So in theoretically, or actually practically, if you had $250,000 to invest, you should probably invest maybe $50,000 in 5 different properties. That'll give you the opportunity to completely diversify with different sponsors, different asset classes, different regions around the United States. It'll give you different cash flow metrics and certain credibility and stability that we've obviously allocated, and you'll be able to diversify your portfolio. So now you have the ability from your iPad, from a laptop, to diversify all over the United States in the bigger, more quality, high institutional-like deals from your own home. So the interesting part about what Acquire that we built all of our own technology. Everything is homegrown. There's no third-party modules. So we manage everything on our own. It's completely secure. So after you felt comfortable with the investment, you could literally make that investment in less than 30 seconds. Now, of course, nobody's going to make an investment in less than 30 seconds. All of the information about every particular property is completely transparent to the investor. From the financials, the appraisals, the surrounding area, the tenants, the credit quality, all the due diligence that we've done for our own investment is available to you. So then you can then, of course, after you've checked it up with counsel, your accountant, your spouse, your brother, whoever it may be that helps you with your investment decisions, after you felt comfortable with that particular investment, you can make that investment in a matter of seconds. So we've bridged the gap between the high-quality sponsors and the accredited investors. We made it very user-friendly. So here's a couple of questions that I typically get from some of our investors. What happens if something happens to Acquire? Well, what we do, our models, we set up single-purpose LLCs for every particular investment. So God forbid something happened to our company, our surviving entities would survive our company, and the investors in that entity, which owns the actual real estate, would survive any scenario. So, and it has its own operating agreements, all the different details that in the event, God forbid something happened to our company, the investments would stay secure at the sponsor and the property level. Another question I get very often, well, how do I know what's going on at the property? Well, since we are one LP, we're one limited partner to that sponsor, we get all the information from the sponsor. And sponsors like us for a number of reasons. One, because we have a long-standing relationship. Two, because we are one investor to them. So there's no risk from some of the crowdfunding, other sites that you might see. We want to crowdfund a deal. Hopefully we'll raise that capital. Since we're investing all of our money first, there is no risk to the sponsor that we won't close. Three, since we're one LP, they have one K1 and one distribution that they have to supply to Acquire. And of course, from a prorated perspective, if one invests $100,000 in a property and someone invests $10,000 in a property, the distributions are adjusted accordingly. But the same information is relevant to both investors, whether a new leasehold was upgraded, whether they put in a new parking lot, whatever information about the property that's distributed to Acquire, of course, is disseminated all through our investing base. So everybody knows what's going on the property on a quarterly basis. So you're in the loop. So now you have your dashboard at Acquire. You could sit back and manage all your properties, see what's going on in all of them. All of the cash flow and distributions are directly deposited into your bank account, and it's a very user-friendly experience. So what we've done here is we've really simplified and we've modernized the way real estate investing has happened over the past 90 years. We've leveraged technology to make the ability for you to make these investments and diversify your portfolio. So what I want to do, I want to offer everyone here on this webinar an opportunity for a private, personal webinar and see how the technology works. You can speak with one of our counselors or myself, and we can walk you through how the investment process works. We're happy to talk to counsel and others to give you the idea on our investments and the logistics behind it. But really what's important here is the access and the diversification. There are other alternatives to invest in real estate. A lot of accredited investors think their home is their real estate holdings, which it is a part of your real estate holdings. But generally speaking, when you're talking about a portfolio of investments, whether it's stocks, bonds, etc., you should have some sort of your allocation towards real estate. And this is a great way to give you exposure to sponsors that you never would have had access to and opportunities that were never been made available to you. So I appreciate the time today. We're always available. You can certainly reach out to me at Steven@acquirerealestate.com. Call our offices. We're happy to talk to you at any time, walk you through our properties. Again, I want you to remember all these properties that you're seeing on our platform, we've already invested in ourselves, not only from our company's money, but from our own money. We're also clients of our own company, which is important. So everybody's interest will always be maintained in alignment, and hopefully we'll be able to make a lot of money for our clients. Thank you for spending time with me today. Again, please feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.